Hello and welcome to The Hump. This week we're talking breakthrough. Before we begin, let's introduce our panel. Meg, hello. And Roderick, welcome back.
Thank you.
And Jason.
Hey, Sophie.
Hello. And welcome back. So we're talking breakthroughs at the moment. Now, my biggest one that I can think of, I'm going to steal this one, is the drone. So in the camera world, having, I think it was about a year ago that these brought in, and now it's become the norm that if you're a cameraman, you're going to buy a drone to get these great shots. Yeah, but Meg, you've got something on breakthrough?
Yeah, I just didn't know whether the older you get, does it stop your ability to accept new technology, any new breakthroughs? So I had a technotard moment a while back where I had to use my smartphone, not smart user. Okay. I had to use my smartphone as my GPS. Now I'm used to having my navman stuck to my windscreen, but I wasn't able
so
to.
Old school.
There's age divides opening up on the panel already.
Okay. Thank you for sitting between us, but my pen can go. So I'm used to that. But what I'm saying is I'm so used to doing something, go on autopilot. I have 2,000 things in my head. I don't have room. Or do I have room or do I not have the want to know more? Because
or need.
Or the need. So I have my old-fashioned stick-on window thing and my typewriter and my, No, but I'm just saying, like, the thing was so clear to me, what it was saying and what to do, but I just wasn't reading properly because I was panicking because we were getting lost and we were getting late. It was very clear. My mother, she used to frustrate me because she had no interest in computers and the world of wonderment that she could have instead of doing her crosswords. It's a generational thing, okay?
Okay.
So, but and there's that joke of, if you want to fix the TV or the computer or anything digital, give it to a teenager. So is it a case of the brain's full, you don't want, or is it an age thing where you just go, nah, I don't want to know? You will be my age.
Lack of trying.
Well, it is true. That's actually recently been proven, that old joke about when you learn something new, you forget something that you've learnt before. That actually does happen, but you have to be over a certain age for it to start happening. Obviously, it's not true of teenagers. But I think it's for that classic
they forget
case,
to pick up their clothes off the floor.
They don't forget, they just don't do it. But yeah, I think it's a case of if you need to do it, if you are engaged, if you're like employed in a certain field, if you have a reason to be engaging with this stuff, you'll keep doing it. And I think it's like, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing as you go on, because there are lots of people in our field who are in their 70s, 80s, even 90s who are doing lighting plots on computers and still engaging with modern technology and reveling in it.
Yeah, but it's also interesting to see how much or how little people actually use technology. Because if you look at the power the software has that you put on your computer, most people use 5 to 10% of what it actually does. And there's all this stuff that it can do, and nobody even bothers to find out about it. And you'll find that different people use different bits of the software.
And I feel like Apple have mastered that in going back to simplicity. Like I've got a 5D camera, really good camera, but it's always on auto because I don't know how to use all the different buttons on it. But sometimes simplicity is...
Yeah, and that auto mode still takes really, really good photos.
Yeah, it's a great mode.
That's how I take photos. I've got no idea what I'm doing.
But in the industry world, I'm not sure what you guys think, but I think it's constantly progressing, and there's always things that I'm going, wow, this is incredible. I can't say Vivid was that wow for me this year. In I wanted to see more. I don't know, that's just our, I think, generation that we always want more really fast on where it's moving these days. Well, what do you guys think?
I don't know. I think our industry in terms of technology tends to go sort of very, very slow improvement. Then a sudden innovation will come along that'll change everything, like a new lighting technology or a new audio technology. And
or
then
it'll
sort of, just sort of then move along. I feel like we're actually in a bit of a flat spot at the moment in terms of anything gallopingly new. There's sort of, as you were saying before, Roderick, LED technology is sort of slowly taking over the lighting industry over a long period.
Yeah. But the what I think is going to be the next real serious breakthrough will be the replacement of DMX as a control system.
Okay.
Right.
Because that's at the moment within lighting, that's the biggest problem, because it's the technology is from the early 80s.
80s, yeah. It dates to about the same time as MIDI, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's ancient in technology.
And it's just holding back. And you now have lighting equipment with 63 channels.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
So actually, where do you see that going? Like something more like open source control, or?
I honestly don't know. It's. I think it'll step away from copper. It'll go fiber. So you get much bigger fiber systems actually controlling everything. Which will then, because then through the fiber you can also send down your vision, your projectors, you can run your audio, everything goes through the same backbone.
Yeah, we'll start seeing some very different fixtures if that starts happening. That could be quite exciting. I hadn't really thought of that. Interesting.
That's where I think, because at the moment everything is just more and more, you look at Eurovision, it's just 500 of the same, doing the same thing. Once you start improving the control system, you probably start seeing less, but much smarter use.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, much more interesting things coming out. Okay, so there we have it. Lighting manufacturers, eat your fibre. We'll be back after this.
I recently pitched my vision for the upcoming opening ceremony of the Rio Olympics to the International Olympic Committee. Instead of yet another boring, predictable celebration of local culture and historical achievements, why not give the people something they'll really remember? I wanted to highlight the essential pointlessness of striving to achieve athletic perfection in a mortal body that will inevitably age and die. I wanted people to really think about how superficial a sporting contest is when faced by the eternal abyss of non-existence while living in an uncaring universe that is totally indifferent to suffering. I think something must have been lost in translation because they didn't seem enthusiastic at all. That, or they didn't think 500 school children dressed as Jesus, setting themselves on fire, accompanied by Norwegian black metal, would look good on TV. Who knows?
Welcome back. We're going to do a quick recap on our topic of breakthroughs. Now, live performance and live theatre is often about problem solving, and I think you've got a really neat example of that, Roderick. Can you tell us about
Yes, we had a bit of a breakthrough for the Australian opera production of the Ring Cycle, with in one of the operas, the two singers actually need to come onto the stage in a boom lift or cherry picker. And there was a whole discussion about how we can solve it by moving the controls to the back of the thing and then have technicians standing behind it and so that it could be seen. And I just put my hand up and said, well, why are we going through this whole process? Oh yeah, well no, they can't operate the equipment. They're not allowed to. Well, why don't we train them? So we sent the 2 singers plus the 2 understudies off to a plant training school, and they got their certificates. So I now know there's 4 opera singers with a boom lift ticket.
And when it's quiet in the opera singer, they can go out picking cherries out in the orchard.
They can help the lighting people actually up in the rig now.
Yes.
Upskilling.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Perfect.
Oh, well, speaking of operating heavy machinery, let's have a look at Gearbox. Well, Julius, LSC, Australian company based in Melbourne, they gave us clarity, they gave us the Minim and the Maxim, and now they give us the Mantra Light.
And they've been giving since the late 70s when I was in lighting.
Yeah, wow, when you started in lighting.
I started in the mid to early 70s, Jimmy.
Well,
How old were you then?
I wasn't even born, mate. Which makes me an excellent person to talk about this. Now, this is a cute little thing. And I believe the working theory behind this was they wanted to build a lighting console that plumbers could use. You didn't know that, did you?
Well, that's all we've got today on the Hump on Breakthrough. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.